Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Biddy Review Show with Miles Utel. Yesterday was Sunday, January 2nd, 2011, also known as Week 4 in the Bedford Biddy League. There were some great games in the league yesterday, some records set, and we're looking forward to a good review show to highlight those games. I'm your host, Miles Utel. Welcome to the show. Some interesting Biddy games going on. Let's take a look at the first one that I want to highlight. It was a fantastic game, but very one-sided. A lot of energy, but wasn't the closest of games. You'll see when I show you here. Let's take a look. The Texas Longhorns beat the Arkansas Tech Wonder Boys 81-21. Major blowout. Bryce Buxton was on fire and unstoppable, scoring 49 points, which is a league record in the history of Bedford Biddy. Congratulations to him. He had 33 of those 49 in the second half. Derek Gillis also contributed with 21 points as well. All 5 players who showed up for the Longhorns scored and got to play the entire game. They finished that game with a 3-1 record, looking on to next week. The Wonder Boys were led by Eric McDonald with 9, Bennett Doherty with 6, but no other positives really. They're 0-4. Now, the earliest game today was not the 7 o'clock game. It was actually the 6 o'clock. I just wanted to highlight the fact that Bryce had an outstanding game. So I'm going to take you to the 6 o'clock game right now. This one was between the UNLV Running Rebels and the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. This was an exciting matchup between two powerhouse teams. Mark Hosang led the victorious Running Rebels with 12 points, and Larrabee and Nick England both had 9. Nick England was huge in the game, especially late first half, early second half, with 3-pointers at critical moments, and he seemed unstoppable. Garand and Simpson both had 6, and the team shot 7 for 13 from the free throw line, giving them a 3-1 record. Wake Forest, who scored 37 points this game, was led by Michael Scanlon with 13 and was perfect at the free throw line. Corey Joback had 9 points as well, when it was 3 for 5 at the line. They combined for all of the team's free throws, going 8 for 10 combined. Kevin Haynes dropped 11 points and netted 3 threes. However, Rooney, their superstar, was held only to 2 points, and that cost him the game. Should be an exciting week next week. Let's hope they do well. Unfortunately for UNLV, they're going to be hurt with Nick England kinda on the end right now. He told me today that he's not going to be able to finish the game next week because he's got a bad knee injury that we'll be able to take a look at when we get the highlights later this week. So let's take a look at the next game. There were 2 8 o'clock games, one at Lurgio, one at BHS. Let's take a look at them now. The 8 p.m. game at Lurgio was between the Hustlin' Owls, who won 46-30 over the Super Bees. Max McKee was lighting them up this game, dropped 21 points, 2 3-pointers, and was 7 for 11 from the free throw line. Brian Mitchell and Stanton both had 7 points, although Dan Hughes was held to only 3 points on 1 3-pointer. The Hustlin' Owls didn't need him, and they improved their record to 2-2. The Super Bees were held to 3 points in the first half, not so strong, but Jordan Sauls came alive in the second half, dropping 15. Nick Villeneuve ended his game with 4 points and had to leave the game in the third quarter due to a double technical call on him, and he will be out next week, which is tough for the Super Bees. The other 8 o'clock game was the game of the week for BCTV, and it was an exciting one. Many people favored the Michigan State Spartans for this game, but it ended up being a much closer game than they were anticipating. The Spartans ended up winning in overtime, 36-35. A.J. Correa led the way with 9 points, and Sullivan Holt had 8 points before fouling out. The Golden Bears scored 35, mainly because of the Vanimal Hendricks was 17 and actually made his free throws this game, going 4 for 7 from the line. Varsity stud Will McInerney dropped 7, but it wasn't enough as they fell 1 point short, 36-35. The 9 p.m. game at Lurgio was between the Fighting Camels and the Miami Hurricanes, both teams coming in at 0-3. Andy Lalonde, the big man, down low, decided to drop threes for this game. He dropped 3 of them and ended up with 18 points. Austin Halley had 6 points as well, and Miles Utel was limited to 4. For the Hurricanes, Chase LaVenture dropped 9, and Andrew Gilson dropped 5, both of them hitting a 3. Mike Gardner scored 4, but the big key for the Hurricanes was the no-show of Joey Marr. Hurt him bad. They lost 39-32. Camels get their first victory. Miami's 0-4 looking for that first win. The last game of the day was between the Kansas Jayhawks and the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, a much-anticipated matchup. Brandon Clark led the Jayhawks with 21 points on 2 threes and 3 of 5 from the free throw line. Will Hughes, the lefty, dropped 11 points on 1 3-pointer, and Jeff Sliwa dropped 6 points on 2 3-pointers. The team shot 6 for 13 from free throw line, and the Jayhawks surprised the entire league by going 4-0 to start the year. Hawaii really is struggling right now. They were hoping to get a big performance from their big 3 with Steve, Mike, and Zach Husband, but with Zach's limited minutes, he was held to only 2 points. Steven Galante led the way with 17 on 1 3-pointer and 2 of 4 from the free throw line. Mike Skilton had 13 and dropped 3 threes. And Eli Berg, surprise of the game, dropped 4 points, one on a miraculous shot that you may see later this week. The team shot 2 for 4 from free throw, all from Steven, but they're 2-2. Speaking of the standings, let's take a look at the ACC, led by the Kansas Jayhawks at 4-0. Right behind them are the Texas Longhorns coming off that decisive victory against the Wonder Boys. Hawaii and Oregon Tech are battling at 2-2, and the Golden Bears and Camels are dropped at the bottom to 1-3. The other division, the Big East, is led by Michigan State Spartans at 4-0, and Wake Forest not 3-0 but 3-1, and UNLV at 3-1. The Super Bees are 1-3. The Hurricanes have lost a bunch of tight games, but they're 0-4, and the Wonder Boys look to hopefully at some point this year get a win, but they're struggling. 0-4 hasn't really been that close. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. This was our review show. Stay tuned later this week for the highlights and interviews, as well as the Week 5 preview. Thanks for joining us.